Fox News alert, we are still covering the tragic news of Damar Hamlin in critical condition. We're expecting a press conference soon. We'll be updating you. We got this statement from the NFL and the Players Association. This is what they said. The NFLPA and everyone in our community is praying for Damar Hamlin. We have been in touch with the Bills and Bengals players and with the NFL. The only thing that matters at the moment is Damar's health and well-being. Joining us now is TJ Moe, former NFL wide receiver. TJ, thank you so much for joining the program. We are praying for you, brother, as well as the entire NFL community. When you saw the hit, when you saw him not get back up after collapsing, what went through your mind?
Well, so I'm from St. Louis, and we had a hockey defenseman named Chris Pronger. 1998, he took a slap shot to the chest, and it was very close to what we saw here. He got up, was fine, 2 skates, collapsed. His heart had skipped a beat. He was out unconscious for 20 seconds, and he was back 4 days later, but it was very scary. So we've seen some of this where you sort of have the blunt force and it knocks people out. Now, this obviously a little bit different. They did not have to give Chris Pronger CPR. They were giving him CPR, but I was watching, there wasn't a whole lot of debate. Once upon a time, I think there would have been debate, but there wasn't a whole lot of debate whether or not to cancel this game. I think the NFL was just buying time, trying to figure out if they thought he was going to be okay. They sort of gave their 5 minutes to warm up thing, saying, you guys do something while we figure out what we're doing here. But, the decision to cancel the game was really obvious to me if you believe in the power of prayer. Because you cannot tell me, and the entire team, both teams, I think, were kneeling down in prayer. If you believe in the power of prayer, then you understand that all of those guys, they're all best friends, certainly teammates. You cannot expect me to go figure out how to conquer cover 2 when I have an opportunity to intercede with prayer for my friend during his most needed time of his life. And you're seeing it on the screen now. Like, that's what these guys were doing. And it would have been dangerous to go back into this game. So the NFL made the right call. I don't think there's any reason people should be upset with the NFL for taking a while to make the call. No harm, no foul. Nobody was out on that field. It would have been dangerous for guys trying to play after that. Actually, I think there would have been significantly more injuries if that did happen. The right thing happened, and everybody now, I just read a tweet from Joe Danman of Fox 19 in Cincinnati. He said the Bills are getting on a plane and they're going home. They're not sticking around for this week to try to play the game again. They're all in prayer, trying to make sure that they're interceding on their teammates' behalf.
You know, TJ, what you just said was so profound. I mean, for all the talk in our culture that we have lost faith, that we have turned away from God, I mean, there was a clear unison corporate prayer for Damar. And it wasn't just the players on the field, it's people in the stands. You look on social media, people were offering their prayers. There is still some good within the American culture right now. And I think we're witnessing that right now. Everybody is stopping and praying for Damar and his family.
And I think that's an excellent point. The what's the old saying? There's no such thing as an atheist in the foxhole, right? When it comes down to potentially final moments, everybody's in prayer. If you don't believe in God, you're hoping there's a God in prayer. If you spend any amount of time on Twitter, to your point about social media, you understand it's a cesspool of just vile people tearing each other down, and it's just a miserable place. I mean, I'm on Twitter often, but it's a miserable place. And what you saw and what you see in moment of tragedies like this is a lot of people saying, praying for you, which is, this is a country of Christian faith. Still around 70% of people in America claim to be Christians, according to the Pew Research Center. So, sometimes it takes tragedy, unfortunately, to get us here. But this is, if there is such a thing as silver lining, this is it. Seeing that, I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw that on a football field. You'll see a few guys at center field occasionally before the game or after the game. Maybe it's 10, 15, 20 guys. This was a stadium in prayer, trying to intercede in hopes that God would heal or save this young man's life. And I think that's a big deal. Shouldn't be ignored.
So powerful. TJ, do you anticipate some changes to the NFL after this moment? I know it's kind of hard to make a prediction on that because we don't know the outcome. Maybe we get some more information from this press conference that we're expecting to give us an update. But do you see any changes coming?
I don't think so. I mean, you look at the hit. The NFL's done everything they can. They've bent over backwards to make sure that you get all that head trauma out of the league. And I'm a former slot receiver. I always tell people I was always the nail, never the hammer. I'm actually not a fan of the NFL's targeting rule. I think it's made the game soft. And this didn't even have anything to do with that. This was a guy that got hit in the chest. He's been hit hundreds of times, probably thousands of times in his life, harder than that. It was perhaps the wrong timing, as some of the doctors said a little bit earlier. It was perhaps something going on prior, right, leading up to it. But unfortunately, and obviously this is it's just the reality. This is a him problem and not a general population problem, because people take these hits all the time. He took these hits all the time. I'm sure he's been hit identically to what just happened there, and popped right up. Obviously was not rushed to the hospital and getting CPR. And so this is such an anomaly. And again, this is why we go straight to prayer, because there was something going on beyond a normal football play here. This is not, I know we're not showing the hit on screen here, but it's not like a vicious hit. If anybody watched it, you'd say, and you've played any amount of football, you'd say,
if you played it, if you watched it for years, it looks like a typical hit. TJ, you've been insightful today. Thank you so much for joining the program.